Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well and you're ready to kickstart your day with me, Muhammad Maktoub, and the wonderful Shazad Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Shazad. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm absolutely perfect. And for all those people who tuned into PT World, you're obviously watching World this morning.
I know, I just told him that.
Yeah,
I literally just told him
perfectly all
that.
right.
Wishes, and why do we still need it? And going forward, how important will it be within Pakistan as well, especially for the students out there? We've been joined by Asim Zafar. He is a corporate trainer and he is doing a course called Learn to Learn. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
So,
Thank you very much for coming over.
let's start from the beginning. So, first of all, what is Learn to Learn?
Well, Learn to Learn English is actually, as it may sound, it's not for beginners. It's for the people who already know English, already have good understanding of English language. They can speak all right. They have satisfactory level of usage as well. And it is actually designed at, or the major objective of this is how to organize your learning. Right. I mean, you cannot control the external factors. You listen to people speaking in English, as you were, pointing out those dialects and, different accents and different pronunciations, and then, different words, different people speaking English, and, all that going into your ears.
Yeah.
And then into your system. So before it goes into your system, what should be done, how to actually make sure that you learn the correct English and how you actually could use it later on. So the objective was that. And it has actually, I've been teaching English for about 15 years now and been learning English for even more than that. About 25 years back, one of my friends, he used to correct me on pronunciations. When I used to say
I've got
cough.
a friend over here.
Okay.
And that's not me. I don't do
No,
that.
that's all right.
Yeah.
So when I used to say cough, he said, no, it's not cough, it's cough. I said, fine. Yeah, really? How do you know that? And he never told me.
Okay.
I don't know. I never met him again. Otherwise, I would have asked him why.
You never wanted to, right?
Yeah. But then one day I just came across this IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet chart and all. I mean, it was quite scary when I looked at it for the first time. But then, when I got into understanding it, it wasn't that difficult. Got hold of a dictionary. And I'm talking about 25 years back. We didn't have these, internet support and all that stuff.
Okay.
So the dictionary, and that's where I actually learned how to learn the pronunciation of different
See, I
words.
was telling you.
So that's how I started working on English. On my own. I don't take any credit away from my teachers. They were quite all right. Alhamdulillah, they were wonderful. But a lot of learning that I have done, a lot of English language learning, I've done that on my own.
Okay, so let's focus on that.
Kabula, right? Wow.
So see,
3 times.
It can be the other way around as well.
Yeah,
But
that's
ladies and
dangerous.
gentlemen, I think what happens is that in today's time, most of the time, we end up arguing. Why is it important for us to have the correct pronunciation when if we can still speak, or why can't we have our own very Pakistani accent?
I'm fine with that. Actually, I'm not an advocate of. If you haven't
Fake
lived,
accents.
it's just like that. Somebody the other day came to me for an interview, a student, and I asked him where he was from, and he said, "I'm from Bagbanpura."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, Bagbanpura is quite a wonderful, a beautiful name. So why are you saying it like that, Bagbanpura?" Because he was so obsessed with, and then I said, "You have a wonderful name." His name was quite beautiful. So I said, "Who gave you this name?" He said, "My father gave me that name." So why do you have to be so obsessed with it? So yes, true, but I always say it's good to know a few things. It's not the most important thing to be speaking like somebody who's from England or from but then correct pronunciation, at least. That is something we could work on. You don't have to sound like a British or
Okay.
No, exactly. It's like when I'm speaking Urdu, it's when people are, like, for example, recently, I just had an experience actually. Let me share this. So I was saying some Urdu names on some Urdu words.
Yeah.
Now, my accent isn't that bad. It's really not that bad.
Go ahead, share those words.
I can't share those names because I'll get fired. No kidding. So now, the thing is, it was such an obsession with the correct pronunciations that everything else was sacrificed, like the grammar, the English, the whole like structural outline of that program was completely sacrificed for the pronunciations of a few Urdu words. So, like, how important? I mean, how like you, Shazad made a very good point. It could be dangerous getting the wrong words,
could
but
be.
is it more important having the correct grammar, knowing the language, than actually being able to kind of get the words exactly right?
Yes, it is. And this learn to learn English is actually, obviously every language has three components. It has pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar.
Okay.
So it's not only about pronunciation, because that's how we started. That's where we started. Talked about my friend and all. Otherwise, this learn to learn English is not only that. It is the relevant grammar. See, what happens is, the grammar which is taught at our schools, unfortunately, is more exam oriented, and everybody would know what is the present simple tense and present continuous tense and all that, but they won't know how to use it, where to use it, why are they,
Okay.
So what we do in this, or what we try to do in this 3-hour session, is obviously pronunciation and a little bit of grammar, the relevant grammar, and the concepts that made you afraid when you were at school. It's just that you fear those things. It's more like making friends, making friendship with English language.
Exactly.
And so with grammar and with vocabulary also, all the other...
This
that's
concept
also
is great, that whatever is relevant.
Yeah.
I think
good.
that's what you need to learn first, and then you can probably go beyond that.
Yeah.
And then half of the time what I...
being correct on that. See,
Anything within Learn to Learn, what are the tools that these people will acquire?
well, it's 3 or 4 things. For example, we start with, we've been talking about pronunciation. We start with that, stress patterns, syllables, and how different languages, because, in Urdu, there are different stress patterns, and when we actually start speaking English, we use the same stress patterns. All the syllables in Urdu, they are the same. And that's why, Kabul, because, but in Urdu, it is Kabul. That's what it is. And in certain languages, the last syllable is more pronounced, the first syllable is, so, something like that.
Okay.
Then intonation, that's what we do, that's the kind of tools. In vocabulary, we talk about collocations and connotations, how you could use certain, what's the difference between handicapped and crippled, what's a negative connotation and a positive connotation.
Okay.
Certain words which are taken from a formal register, you don't use them in formal situations. When you speak, you don't use them. When you don't say purchase when you speak. You always say I bought something, and that's what it is. And when it comes to grammar, tenses, fine, all right, but it's more important to know the world class.
But English is indeed a very complicated language.
Absolutely, and I also think that we
definitely
should
is.
probably get the words up on the screen if we can, because that will make it more easier.
I
to
think
actually
I think
understand.
we will do that, but then imagine that the only reason why I'm saying that English is a very complicated language
It
is
is.
because the fact that you say driveway, but you parked your car on a driveway, and then the Britishers the Britishers have a very different accent and the way they spell as well as of Americans. So now, which school of thought do we really need to follow first of all?
English from England.
All right, fine, you would say that.
I don't think my
But
American friends are
whatever
like
it is,
this.
it should be one school of thought. If it is received pronunciation you're following, then you should follow that. And if it is American, fine. If it is Australian, all right. Then it has to follow all the rules that
Even
they
the
use
spellings
for.
are different.
Yeah, but then
Sometimes, not that much. Like as in, okay, so there's the word route is spelled R-O-U-T-E. So I'm going
Yeah.
to take this route
Yeah.
route.
to go
but
somewhere.
the Americans
but
would take
Americans
it
say route.
Route, yeah.
And so when I was in America, they were like, "Oh, which route are you taking?" I'm like, "What? Sorry, what?"
Because route is another word in English.
Because
Yeah.
at least we
That's-
do
that's
not
what it
have
is.
different origins of Urdu. At least, thank you very much for that. I mean, honestly.
It's not a competition. Why does everything have to turn into a competition?
No, but as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed, for all of us important to learn different languages. This is why we were highlighting. This is why we had Mr. Asim Zafar on the show as well, and his Learn to Learn initiative. And he said that it is an advanced level learning. It's not for the beginners. So for all those people who probably want to learn English and they can probably speak. As a matter of fact, by now, what they can do is that they can contact him. And sir, if you have any contact numbers where people can contact you, or Facebook page or
How
whatever,
do they connect with Learn
go
to
ahead,
Learn
share.
English?
Yeah.
Well, we have a Facebook page. That's my actually institution, House of Learning Lahore.
Okay,
That's
great.
what it is. and they can call us. And if you want me to give the phone number, I could do that as
Yes,
well.
please do.
Go
That's
ahead.
0300 841 9450.
As far as your wife does not have a problem.
No, she doesn't.
Cool
She's
with
a
it.
trainer herself, and so we'll be
Excellent.
going together wherever we
Okay,
go for
so
training.
and just before we wrap up this segment,
To attend courses or who could not come to
Yeah,
us, so we
great.
could go to them.
okay.
But the point she was trying to make was a very different point, and that was that half of the time people do feel a bit of hesitation.
Yeah, they do.
That, okay, you know, people will make
Even
fun
in
of me.
corporations,
Yeah.
people have.
What do you think they need to do? An expert opinion.
I don't know. I
Stand
mean, they
right
have
in front
to,
of the mirror and just
there
keep
are.
on-
I mean, this is something which is more sort of non-academic issue. It's more psychological and all that stuff. I guess it has to do something with the culture. Overall, not English language only. Even certain other things. If you don't know certain things, you hesitate to ask, and that's what we've got to train and teach ourselves about.
ask.
Yeah, just ask, and maybe it's also because they don't find people who respond the way they should.
Exactly.
So alhamdulillah, I mean, we won't do that.
No, you
And,
seem very kind. So
And I
sure.
think that
Do I?
can be a
Thank
message
you.
too, that for all those people, let other people try. If they're trying, please make sure that you do not give them a response where they might hesitate in near future.
Exactly. You don't need to break someone's spirit or, motivation. But thank you so much for your time and
Thank
best
you
of
very
luck.
much. Thank you. It has
And
been-
we look forward
it's
to
been
seeing what
pleasure.
happens at the House of Learning.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So that's about, this is how you actually resolve a dispute. And I think with this, what we need to do is that we need
Well,
to
how
go
do we-
for...
what do you mean, how
yeah,
do
let me say that. We
Yeah.
do need to go for a break. We're wrapping up this segment, but when we are going to come back, that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
How to, resolve a dispute.
So now that we've sorted out our English, so we
Yeah.
will talk about that. So let's take a break.
Arbitration, that's what we're talking about.